Welcome to the Medical Device Made Easy podcast. Here is Monir Lazouzi from easymedicaldevice.com. And today I want to tell you a story. So do you remember a time where we had procedures out of papers? So a time where when you look for a document, you have to open some binders or maybe go on the basement of your company, open some AV door and try to look at boxes to find the document that you are looking for. So do you remember that? Or maybe you are already doing that, so you are still doing that. So what we try to do on this episode is to convert you to digitalization. Digitalization. So this is a difficult word, but to be honest, it's really something that will save your life or save your time. And for that, I have with me Michael Kanya, who is regulatory affairs professional at MedDevo, and he will tell us more about digitalization. So welcome, Michael. How are you?
How are you, Monir? I'm doing very great. It's summer, it's warm, and I enjoy life.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it's summer and it's really a great time. Today is sunny time, so it's a really great time. So Michael, so we have a full episode to try to convert people to digitalization. So I wanted first that you are introducing yourself, telling more about you to the audience, and then we can try to see how we can make this conversion.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Michael, and I'm a regulatory affairs consultant at MedDevo. And what we are doing all day is, let's say, taking all the old Word and Excel stuff and try to go into a full digital world with our clients. And we do this with a software solution we offer. So from morning till evening, we are doing digitalization literally. Literally, we do digitalization. Yeah.
So great. So I think you are in the right SME to help us to convert the audience. We will talk about your solution more at the end. But first, I wanted to ask you, what is exactly digitalization? What we are talking about when we say that?
Yeah, that's a tricky question because I can tell you what isn't digitalization. Yeah, when you have your Word document and you write something inside or a statement or something like that, and then you print it out, sign it, and then you scan it, and then you have it on your net drive. This isn't this, let's say, cutting edge digitalization. Yeah, you have a digital document, in fact, but digitalization, it means something in terms of transformation, like the whole process, the whole business process of regulatory affairs, quality management, R&D also, to have a full transfer from the business process from a, let's say, world right now to a digital world, not only documents, but whole business process.
So we are not talking specifically about, as you said, Word documents. So it's more conversion to software or conversion to something like that. So that makes it easy to retrieve the information.
Yes, yes.
So
I think information is the right word here. Information is more important than a document.
So the medium, yeah, yeah, you're right. So I think we should retain that what we are doing here is really to try to find easily the information, and the medium where we are using is just something that we can change. So this is the way that we are doing it. Before it's paper, then now we are more going in terms of softwares. So yes. Why is this so important? So do you have some examples of things that could make the life of people easier if they convert themselves to digitalization?
Yeah, I mean, there's a magic word right now in the world. It's called MDR.
Okay.
And I mean, what is the problem here? It means we have to go into detail. We have a broader scope. We have a bigger maintenance effort for our technical documentation. And that means we have higher costs and we produce more errors inside the documents. And when I talk about digital technical documentation, I talk about the content level. So we have to put as many information from the documents itself on the content level, so we can have a look at it, we can use them, and then we can use those kind of information on content level to create documents automatically. And when documents are created automatically, they can be also monitored and checked for the up-to-dateness of the status of the document, basically. And bringing all this information into a system, some people say that's a costly thing maybe, and this is something I need to put resources in. My answer for that is always yes and no, because we have to update our technical documentation to bring it on the MDR level. And then it's the question, should I do this on Word and Excel level with more staff to maintain this information then? Or should I bring this information on the content level inside of databases, and then I have already and all the time access to it? And this is basically what it's all about, to bring information from the document level on the content level.
No, it's clear. So yeah, as I said, we remember some time when we were looking for some documents and we had to get the paper and the official version. And now you can be on an airport or anywhere with your laptop with a good connection, and you can retrieve the document, official document, because it's an official system, and then use it or talk about it and be sure that the information is correct. So which is really the most important things here.
Yes, I mean, you just click, let's say, on your product code that you are looking for, and you have a full set of documents. You can even, let's say, tell the system, do I want to see my document structure in MDR Annex 2, or do I want to see my DHF according to US requirements, and so on. Yeah, but because the system knows it all and can serve it to you.
Okay, so what else? What can we do still with the digitalization?
Okay, when I step back now from the document level, yeah, we talked about bring information in it and then create documents and monitor it. This sounds very nice, but we can have another step, because when I have content inside the database, I can make the system to validate my content.
Okay.
The easiest part is to say, okay, I want to have for my product XYZ, I want to know my MDR classification, and there's maybe some, I don't know, 2A Rule 5 according MDR and justification. Nice. So this is an easy part. The system looks, is there a classification for my document? Easy. But I can also pour in my regulatory knowledge into the system and say, if I tick the attribute that my product is a sterile product, so look in the system if there is any kind of sterilization validation report for my product.
Okay.
If there isn't, the system give me the alert, please be aware there is no sterilization validation, and maybe you don't have any sterilization site set into the system. Or if there is body contact, your medical device have body contact to your patient, please fulfill this and this requirements out of ISO 10993, for instance. So yeah.
All what you are mentioning here, so mainly is when we, as we said, we feel a system that is really specific to the MDR or to any other reference that we are using. So, for example, here we are talking about the MDR 2017-45 or IVDR, and we have a system that is dedicated to this regulation. So, meaning that all the requirements of the regulation are already programmed. This is a software that was built specifically for that. And when we have this kind of software, then it's easy to fill the right information and then to link this information between each document and then to retrieve all the documents that we really need. But before that, we had, as I've said, just binders, just papers. And when we wanted to look for classification, we go on this part. When we want to go for biocompatibility, we have this document that is referenced on the technical file. Then we had to look at the report that is located maybe in another binder or another system. So yeah, the objective here is really to say, as soon as you have a system that is built specifically for that, then it's easier because we know exactly what we are looking for. We know exactly what should be linked with what. And this is really the thing that can save you time. And this is why when you are saying at the beginning, it will cost money, is mainly to fill the information inside, maybe some time to just read the document and then to fill the software with those information. But at the end, you can save a lot of time for your employees to retrieve the information and to answer the question. Is it that?
Absolutely. I mean, if you see the product in the center, then and you go to your product, you can have all the documents for your link to your product and look at it in any structure you want, MDR, MDD, US, and stuff like that. You have linked content validations for is everything for this product filed into the system, like classification, rules, intended purpose, intended patient population, and all the stuff that is required. But also other processes out of your quality management system. For instance, complaints. You click on your product and you see, oh, this month I received 5 complaints for this product group or for this particular product. And I can have a look on it and see what kind of threshold levels did I define in my risk management? Is this everything okay? Or should I have to take any kind of action here? Open a CAPA maybe. Also, all CAPAs, you see all CAPAs running for this product.
So yeah, so every tools, if I can say, are linked to a system. If we have an issue with the complaints, we can see the trending. We can look at the escalations. We can make the decision: should we recall? Should we open a CAPA? Should we make some correction? Then all the documents linked to that are also listed. So I think it can be really time saving for companies, but also can also help to reduce maybe some headcount. So no need to have a lot of people to manage everything, because you have now just to push a button and reserve the information. Is it also that?
I mean, it's not about reducing headcount in first place, but to be honest, for all these requirements that are arising, beside MDR, I mean, look at China, look at US and everything. Beside that, we don't have the professionals in place, right? There are only a few. And the idea with the digitalization is not to destroy workplaces and headcount, but to give every RA, QA, R&D professional an assistant. And this software can be, or the digitalization in that field can be an assistant. And all the professionals in your company have more time for the important tasks all around the medical devices, and to raise the compliance and lower costs at the same time. And I think that there is a huge opportunity right now at the medical device field.
Yeah, you're right. And there is also a lot of changes in terms of regulations in many countries. We have also one thing that is appearing is the MDSAP certification, where we have a combined certification for many countries. So the thing that we have in MDSAP is also the fact that the auditors want to get the answer to their question within as less time as possible. So I think less than 20 minutes or something like that. So if you have everything on paper, it can be a nightmare. If you have everything digital, it can be easier then also to retrieve this information and then to present that to the auditor. So management of audit can be also an important point with digitalization, because instead of, as I've said, going to your basement, opening an AV door and trying to find documents in boxes, you can just push a button and maybe get already the information that you need. Have time to review it, have time to confirm that it's really what the auditor is looking for, and then presenting that to the auditor. So I think it's also a point that we have to raise here.
I mean, totally clear. When you get the call from your auditor and they say, we will audit in 1 week your product 1, 2, 3, and you can visit this product in your system, and you see that there are maybe 2 or 3 red lights flashing, and you go to this red light and you see, oh, there's a problem with one document, and there's a problem with any kind of assessment logic you created there. Maybe you ticked something in a change process and forgot to create any kind of content, and the system is warning you, and you would just clean this mess up, and then you are ready for your audit. Maybe one document is then not up to date anymore, but you can click on refresh, and the system is writing a new document for you, and you just approve it, and then you are audit ready.
Yeah, true. One thing that was coming from the update of the ISO 13485/2016 is also the validation of those kind of systems. So now quality system software should be validated. So how are we doing that? So is it something that is easy to do?
I mean, if you know what you are doing and you have a validation plan and all the testings set up, then it's kind of easy. It's a burden, of course. You have to create the documentation, you have to run the tests and everything. But once you are finished and you have a validated system, you can be sure that all your details within your process, your business process, are valid. And then it's pretty easy to have a revalidation of your systems. So if changes appear, you are doing an assessment of your system and looking at your validation and look, okay, my changes are affecting this and this modules maybe, or this and this references or documents that are created. And then you can decide if there is a need for a revalidation. And then you're creating a revision of your validation and do all the testings again. And then you have a validated system again. And I think it's pretty important, because what I experienced in the last years is that people are thinking, oh, I have a system right here and an Excel spreadsheet here. And I don't think that will be a problem, but the problems will come. The problems will come as soon you start to change something, or you are leaving the company, someone else is taking your seat and working with your tools, and they don't have the experience how you build these tools and Excel spreadsheets with all the Visual Basic stuff inside of it. And so this is a huge risk, especially when you are making decisions based on this information you are retrieving out of your spreadsheet or systems, and then you make decisions of maybe device recalls or any kind of CAPA and events. So this can be a very dangerous situation if you don't have a valid system. So I'm a fan of that regulation that you have to have a validated system in place.
Yeah, we talked about that, if I remember, on episode 11 with Bill Stam and Rafael Blanco from General Digital Software Services. If they hear me, so I said it right this time. So yeah, it was also a great episode for software validation, where they talk to us exactly how they are doing that. So yeah, I think now it's something that auditors are asking more and more, because now, as I say, it's on the ISO. So mainly they have to ask you. So you have to be ready for that. So don't use just system that you are building without really having tests done to confirm that the document you retrieve is really the right document, the right version, that anybody that is signing or approving on the workflow is the right person approving. So you have to make all those tests to make the auditors confident, because if the auditors are not confident on your system, all the information that you get out from the system that you present to them as an evidence will have no value for them. So you have really to be careful on that. Yeah. Okay. So Michael, so tell us more about now your system. So as we talked about all this, I think MedDevo is really this kind of system that is really helping manufacturers.
Yeah, I mean, we started 2 years ago. It was some kind of, we were stimulated by MDR, of course. Because we saw all the documentation burden and the mess within processes and documentation, and everyone was doing a different way. And we thought MDR would be a opportunity to clean up the structure of technical documentation, everything. And so we worked something on, we call ETD, like in digital technical documentation or electronic technical documentation. And let's say, the special thing about the system is that we don't have a single solution. We are combining different worlds. So we are taking the benefits out of document management system and syncing it together with content management system. Yeah. So like I have in my content a database where I maintain my intended purposes.
Okay.
And then I have a product, and the product is linked to one certain intended purpose. And when I'm creating my intended purpose document, classification document, clinical evaluation plan, report, and stuff like that, all the information is pulled out of the intended purpose database. So I have only one single source of truth about my intended purpose or my patient population, medical conditions, and all the stuff. So those worlds are synced together, and we are putting on it a validation layer where you are validating the content of your technical documentation. Like, do I have this? Is this in line with that? If I take sterilization, is there a sterilization document and stuff like that? And on that layer, we are putting on a QMS system, a EQMS system. So I have change management. Everything is linked with your technical documentation. And there is no one person creating Word documents on a technical side and a QM man who is creating a change document, and they are talking to each other. Did you completed your change task in your technical documentation? Yes, I did. I signed a document. If you are telling the system there is a change on your product, the system is looking at it and see, okay, I have a new minor version of the product here, and the product now is approved. There is a new major version. I can close the change here on that side. So everything is linked. And I'm really curious about the future of that, because when the electronic technical documentation is the basis where everything is happening, I can put modules on it like risk management, and the risk management is defining threshold levels for my complaint management. And if I'm receiving complaints, the complaint management can look in my risk management and say, hey, I have now 5 complaints within 1 month. Maybe there is a trend, and can give me an alert. And everything is linked together. And we are now partnering with the University of Applied Science in Lübeck. And we have some brilliant students on our side who are creating and investigating together with us in terms of clinical evaluation data, how to manage clinical data in future, maybe share clinical data within the organizations, and also post-market surveillance. And everything is linked. I mean, when you are reading MDR, every system should talk to each other. And we believe, and our team, we believe that a system can only talk to each other when it's not only the high-level process information, like I have a change here, but also the synced information from your technical documentation on the content level, not only document level.
No, it's clear. And I imagine, as I've said, what is interesting with this solution is that it's really specific to medical devices, specific to the regulation. What I have the experience with is mainly some software that are one software that is doing doc control, one software that is doing the CAPA system, one software that is doing the trainings, and one software that is doing the compliance. So mainly we have a mix of software that are not talking together. And here we have really a dedicated solution for medical device companies that can save them time and not have to look for many softwares, but just one that is helping them to put their solution in place. So yeah, I think it's really a great solution. So where people can see more about this software?
I mean, basically, the easiest way is www.medevo.com. And if there is someone in the audience who is, let's say, a key opinion leader on that topic, they can join our KOL panel, which is medevo.com/KOL. Okay. And you can join our panel and join our discussions about, let's say, best practice processes in the digital world, because we want to combine all the opinions of the experts, of the consultants out there, but also together with our clients. There are maybe small clients who are producing class 1 devices or even class 3 devices, and also huge enterprises. They have offices all over the world and managing submissions and stuff like that in one system. So we try to combine all this knowledge together to have a best practice approach for medical devices.
So yeah, so if you are a key opinion leader, please contact Michael Kania. He will help you then related to all these discussions. And I suppose, as all my audience or all my people, my guests, you are also on LinkedIn. So then people can also reach out to you on LinkedIn and then communicate with you. I will put all the links on the show notes. So that it will be easier for you. So you just go to podcast.easymedicaldevice.com and you'll have all the links from this episode. Okay, Michael. So is there something else from your side?
I'm happy to spread the word.
Great, great. Okay, so thank you for your help. Thank you for that. So I hope now that people are converted to digitalization. Just go to the website, so meddevo.com, and then you will get more information, and you will see if this is a solution that can help you or help your organization. Okay, Michael. So thank you for your help, and I wish you a nice day.
Thank you also.